Hey there, book lovers. I'm Haley.
And I'm McCayleigh. Welcome to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist,
the official podcast for the Facebook group All Things Book Related.
We're two besties who are here to share our love for unforgettable characters, unpredictable storylines, and the books we just can't put down.
From our all-time favorites to the latest releases, we're bringing you deep dives, hot takes, and maybe a little friendly disagreement.
So grab your favorite read and let's get ready for some bookish fun.
Hello, everyone! Welcome back to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We are so happy that you're here with us. By the time this episode airs, it'll actually be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone!
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe the year has flown by. Thanksgiving is definitely one of my favorite holidays. We got food, family, more food, so I'm totally digging it.
So, McCayleigh, how have you been?
Good. I recently watched Wicked in theaters, and it was so good. I have been listening to, the soundtrack, specifically Popular, that song, and Defying Gravity, on repeat. I love Ariana Grande's character so much. I told Christian, as we were walking in, I said, when we are watching this movie, you gotta look at Ariana Grande's character and just be like, that's McCayleigh. That's McCayleigh. You see me, not Ariana Grande. And we left the movie, and he told me as we were getting in the car, he said, I just thought you liked her because, she was, wearing pink. But after that, after actually seeing it, he was like, no, I totally understand why you said that.
Oh my gosh,
I'm like,
that's
I
so
told
funny.
you.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, after my cat scratched my face, and I had to go to the ER, that's where we left off last time. My face is healing really good. You can't even tell. There's a little scar here. You can't even see. So I'm happy with that. But then I got the flu. McCayleigh and I were talking about this. I was like, someone cursed us, or especially more specifically cursed me. The first episode, my cat scratched me. Second episode, I've got the flu and I cannot get out of my bed. I can't get dressed or do anything. So I'm kind of on my last day now, so I'm feeling better. It kind of feels like a cold now, but I'm getting there.
Right.
So I just want it all to be done, by Thanksgiving. So
No, I almost forgot you were scratched by your cat, because I can't even see your scar. If you're watching the video of our podcast, you would never have known. You would think our episodes were recorded, months apart, because there is no scar on your face. At least that I could see.
So, what are your Thanksgiving plans?
Well, I'm like, okay, guys, hang on. This is our second recording of this episode. We tried this already.
This is take 2. We've done this already. We know what each other's answers are.
Okay, but we're doing this for y'all. So bear with us as we sit here and pretend to hear everything for the first time again. So anyways, this Thursday, I plan on going to my boyfriend Christian's house for Thanksgiving. We're going to spend time with his family, hopefully eat a lot of Mexican food. So I've never had Mexican food for Thanksgiving, but it'll be a first. But what about you, Haley?
My boyfriend's family is coming up here, and we are going to Colorado from here, so we're going to be staying together in a little cabin, kind of doing our own thing off the grid for a couple days. Well, off the grid. I'm hoping that there's still Wi-Fi. Yeah. Edgar, my boyfriend, has not confirmed, so we'll see on Thursday.
That's so scary.
I know.
When you get there.
What am I going to do?
Oh my god, but I hope you get to read a, cozy book next to a fireplace, whether or not you have Wi-Fi. Hopefully you will. But it's not the end of the world if you don't, as long as you have a book. So.
Yes. Well, speaking of Thanksgiving, today we're keeping things cozy and we're going to be talking about what we're thankful for in books. Whether that's characters, epic romances, and the stories that feel like a warm hug.
Yes. Plus, we're diving into something really exciting, my novel. We'll chat about the story, what inspired it, and the wild journey of writing it.
And make sure to stick around towards the end, everyone, because we're actually recommending books for each other.
Yes.
We already know what we recommended, but it was such a struggle to pick out a book for McCayleigh because we read basically the same things.
Yes.
So there were multiple books where I was like, has she read this? And I'd go to her Goodreads and she's already read it. So
Yeah, I mean, I get most of my like books that I read specifically from the books Haley has already read. So like I literally go to your Goodreads and I'm like, oh, what has she reviewed? You know, like what's good? So yeah, this is very difficult, I'm sure. But
so what
yeah.
have you been reading?
So for November, originally I thought it was a slow month. It has not been a slow month. It really picked up super suddenly. But I started off the month by finishing A Curse for True Love, and we've read The Lost Bookshop, which was so good. Go watch our last episode for our interview with Evie Woods. I read Phantasma, Ask for Andrea, which is one of our book club books that I have, and I finished Crossed by Emily McIntyre, and I just started today listening to Hexed, which is her latest release, and last night I started reading Where's Molly, so I'm like kind of all over the place with like all these different books. But how about you, Haley?
Also said that it was a slow month, but now that I'm sitting here reading everything that I've read, I'm like, it actually has been a super average month for me. But the thing is, most of the books that I read this month haven't been physical copies. Everything's been on audiobook that I'm reading while I'm at work or driving. The only physical book that I read this month was The Silent Patient, and that one was super duper good. I've been rereading the Harry Potter series. So this month I listened to The Order of the Phoenix and The Half-Blood Prince. Also read The Lost Bookshop, which we talked about last time. And I've also read the first 2 books in the Bridge Kingdom series. It's just a little fantasy series. If you have an Audible subscription, it comes with your subscription. So it's basically free.
Yeah, when you like reviewed those and I saw the covers of those, I was like, oh, that is so beautiful. And
the covers is what like drew me in, and then on top of it, it was pretty much free with your subscription. So I was like, might as well.
No, a cover, like people say don't judge a book by its cover, but like, yeah, that can be true, but you're probably going to end up buying a book because of the cover. So it definitely matters.
For sure.
Goodness. But yeah, so what have you been thankful for in books? This is our Thanksgiving episode, so let's dive into that.
So I'm so thankful for books and everything that they've brought into my life. They're really my escape when reality feels a little too much, and my comfort on days when I just need a little extra magic. I'm especially grateful for the stories that stick with me long after I've finished them, and for the bookish friends I've made, like McCayleigh. Yes. Man. So what about you?
Yeah, so I'm definitely also thankful for, if it weren't for books, I don't think we'd be friends just because we would have never met,
Right.
Like maybe in a different life, like, oh, we're interested in, golfing or something random, but I'm very thankful for that. And also just like the escape they offer. If you're just trying to like leave, everything, the stressful life that you're having or whatever is that day, it's a really good escape. And the power to connect like with you and book club and being able to talk on this podcast, and that's really enjoyable for me. And then I'm also really thankful that I use books to help build my career as an author and an audiobook narrator, and again the podcast. So the denominator is always books. So I'm very thankful for them for so many reasons.
Right. So now, guys, we're going to be seeing what our followers are thankful for when it comes to books.
Yes, we posted a poll on our Instagram stories. So if you're not already following us, definitely do so. We love interacting with you guys. It is so much fun. So we will pull up these polls right now and see what you guys had to say.
And everyone who responded, they had so many great answers. I loved going through here and kind of seeing what everyone had to say.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my most favorite that I read from this, it was from Cat the Book Smuggler. Cat says that even though I'm a black cat, there's hope for my soulmate / golden retriever. That was so sweet. It made my whole day when I read it. I was like, oh, that's just perfect.
No, that's something you think about, like just anytime during the day, it'll just come to you, a shower thought. I'm like, gosh. And then let's see, Fictionally Speaking Pod said the escapism that it provides, especially escaping with friends. So that's when those book clubs come into play, and I'm also very thankful for that.
Author Ruby M. Darling says, a way to escape in a healthy manner, it could be drugs. Right? It could.
Yes. Like, what would you rather spend your money on? Like, which addiction? The book addiction or the other one?
Right.
Like, I think we can all agree. I think we're all here because we love books. But
Yes.
yeah, and then Amonse Photo said she's thankful that there's a genre for everyone. So like when people say that they're not a reader, I'm like, no, you just haven't found the right book yet. Like you haven't found your genre. But
yeah,
I firmly believe that. Like everyone is a reader. As long as you know how to read. You're a reader. You just have to figure out which is your, what piques your interest.
Yes. But it was so fun getting to see what everyone had to say. I think this is something that we'll definitely sort of keep up with. I think it's something that we'll probably continue doing. So now, everyone, we're going to be talking about what books we're thankful for. So, McCayleigh, what books are you thankful for?
Yeah, so for me, I'm definitely thankful for A Court of Thorns and Roses because it definitely got me back into reading and it just has like snowballed from there. And also, I'm really thankful for Kingdom of Ash, like Out of the Throne of Glass series, like specifically that book sits with me a lot. And I normally read or listen to audiobooks, but that one I was like, okay, I need to soak it all in. So like I made sure to like read that one. But also I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Like I don't always read like, memoirs of celebrities, but that one she has like so many valuable life lessons in there and it's crazy just to see like her journey and I can't even like wrap my brain around it.
She is such a good writer.
Yeah.
That book was so easy to follow. Like I think I read it like in one day. Yeah. It was so good.
It was such an easy read. But other books I'm thankful for are the Frog and Toad books. Like from elementary school, I remember being in my like elementary school library and those would be the books that I would always go for. Like I read every single one that my library had. So and then, I ran out, but like I loved those books. And I still see like pictures on the internet from the illustrations. I just absolutely loved those. And then Once Upon a Broken Heart, it's the sequel to the Caraval series and I just love that, Jack kind of gets his second chance and I just really loved that. But what about you? Yes. What books are you thankful for?
So there's so many amazing books out there that I've read. It's hard to kind of narrow it down. But a couple that come to mind, obviously Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I collect different covers, so there's more than just this one shelf.
How did I not see
more
that?
Up here.
I'm like, that's a lot.
Like I have the originals and then I'm collecting like the illustrated ones and I have more like up on the top and like put away. And then my Throne of Glass, I'm collecting the original covers too. They're just so expensive. And I've got the new ones now. Besides those two, there's one standalone book that really stuck to me ever since I've read it, and that is The Midnight Library. I read that one last year, and it was my favorite read of 2023. It really puts my life into perspective and how I should be perceiving regrets and how you should live your life to its fullest. So I really carry that book with me every day, kind of thinking about how I should live my life.
Yeah, I read that book like a month or two ago, and it was very, very like intense, Like I was like, wait, am I going to be crying the whole book? And then there would be like happy moments, but it's such a like introspective, see deep within yourself kind of book, and I definitely recommend that book for everyone. Like I feel like the whole world just needs to read that book, and then I think the world would be a better place. Like everyone would be happier, and grateful for everything they have. But highly recommend. Yes. But anyways, let's go on. Now let's talk about what characters we're thankful for. So I know it might intertwine with our favorite books.
Mine definitely do. So some book characters that I'm super thankful for is Hermione from Harry Potter, and then Aelin from Throne of Glass. Also Jude, she's from the Cruel Prince series, and Katniss Everdeen, she's from the Hunger Games. I love stories with strong female characters who kind of take charge and hold their own, and I think we're very similar in that way. I think we both like really strong female
Yes,
leads.
for sure. And I feel like that really ties into like our fantasy romance genre too. Like there's 9 times out of 10 always you're like super strong, powerful main character who's 99% of the time a woman, and
Yeah.
I dig it. It's my favorite thing. And with that being said, like I love Bryce from Crescent City. Like I'm really thankful for
Yes.
her. She is like out there in the world existing. She's like this curvy main character energy with attitude, and she's definitely not perfect as we see like at her really lows in the 1st book. But I love seeing all her vulnerable moments and seeing her grow into what she became by the end of the book. Also, another character I'm really thankful for is Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. I read the 1st book by George R.R. Martin, and it was a ride. And I watched all of that, all the shows. I like obsessed watching it. It's like in the shower, taking my phone with me. I was crazy about it. I still am. So I love her.
Every time my boyfriend and I would go to McCayleigh's, McCayleigh would be like, have y'all watched Game of Thrones? Have you watched Game of Thrones? I'm like, McCayleigh, I told you last week. No, I'm too scared.
Oh my god. No, I still recommend you, Haley, to go and watch it. House of the Dragon is ongoing right now. You will start it and then you'll think, oh my god, I should have listened to her like 8 months ago. It is so good. But her rise from like a timid girl to like this powerful leader, like she is commanding armies. Like I could go on and on about Daenerys Targaryen. Her brother, this head honcho guy, and is like, listen to me, woman. And then she like kind of ends up taking over and has a whole army under her command. Very Aelin of her. Very, very Throne of Glass of her. But 2 other characters I'm thankful for are Arella and Jonathan from Isle of Beasts and Shadows. They're really important to me just because they're like the first 2 characters that I've kind of like got to connect with and ever, be able to write the first time. So that's just really important to me. And also those 2 specifically because they are kind of my favorites. But yeah, and with all of that being said, I have a surprise, not really surprise quiz for you, Haley.
It still is a surprise. Y'all, I didn't know about this quiz until yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, McCayleigh, there's a quiz. I did not study. Like, I've been sick for the past few days. What are you doing to me?
Yes.
But it was so fun. So I'm glad I can do it again. Yes. I may answer a little differently, kind of see what will lead me to who, but
yeah, no, at the end, I'll let you guys know what she got for the first time, and we'll see what she gets for the second time this go around. Okay, Haley. So, there are 5 questions. Audience, you guys, listeners, feel free to follow along, and we'll put this on our social media, like our Instagram, and I think that would be really fun for you guys to see your results as well. So, here we go, Haley. All right. What's your ideal vacation spot? A secluded beach with a mysterious castle nearby, a bustling magical city, a serene forest filled with mythical creatures, or a snowy mountain fortress?
Say the mythical creature forest.
Okay, I'm gonna mark that one. Okay, what weapon would you choose in a fantasy battle? A trusty battle axe, a sword with ancient runes, a bow and arrow enchanted by fae, or a spell book of forbidden magic?
It's hard because I know I cannot use any of the other ones. I'm sticking to the spell book because I know myself and I cannot use one of the other ones.
Okay. I want to say, we are not very confident in ourselves when it comes to fighting in a battle in physical combat. So I agree with you. I would also choose the spell book. And also, how many people get to use magic? Like straight up magic. Everyone can fight, So I agree. I would choose that one too. Okay. If you were a fantasy creature, what would you be? A dragon, a fae warrior, a shapeshifter, or a mermaid?
It would be a dragon.
I love that. Very fierce, very fire, very 4th wing of you. Okay. What's your greatest strength? Leadership, loyalty, courage, or intelligence?
I think I would go loyalty.
Choose your sidekick. A mischievous talking animal, a brooding love interest with a dark past, a quirky inventor who creates magical gadgets, or a loyal best friend who always has your back?
Talking animal.
Really? Are you sure?
Wait, what answer will lead me to who?
So, you've done bad. But based on your answers, you are mostly like Aelin! Yes! We love Last Queen. You are fierce, determined, and unrelenting in your goals. You naturally command respect and always rise to the occasion, no matter how daunting the challenge. Like Aelin, you lead with fire and passion.
I love Aelin. I just know I could never do what she did.
Oh my god, no, same.
But
no, like, what was it, in Air of Fire? I think Rowan punches her in the face. Like, I would never date a guy who punches me in the face.
He was like, you were better off dead. You should have died some odd years ago.
I know.
Punch the crap out of her.
No, but anyways, yesterday, guys, Haley got Bryce Quinlan from Crescent City. So her character description was, you're sassy, smart, and deeply loyal. Beneath your witty exterior lies a heart full of love and devotion for those you care about. Like Bryce, you balance strength with vulnerability in the most beautiful way. That, and then the other two that she could have gotten were Feyre from ACOTAR or Hermione from Harry Potter. But, yeah.
And I love Bryce. I think Bryce is really an interesting character. She's one of those characters, like, Sarah J. Maas hasn't written a lot of characters like her, so it's interesting to see a nice curvy girl representation, so I love her.
Right, no. Speaking of Sarah J. Maas, did you know she writes, I think it's DC superhero books?
Catwoman? Is that what it's called?
I think so. I saw something like that. I'm like, well, you don't see that marketed hardly anywhere.
I wonder... I think did she write it like a long time ago, or is she still writing it?
I think it was a long time ago.
Okay.
When I saw it, I guess I was under
because I've seen the cover before.
Yeah, I saw the cover. I guess I was under the impression that she was just writing a bunch of different, like, superhero books for them, but maybe it was just Catwoman, because I don't ever hear about it. But I thought that was interesting.
Soul Stealer, Catwoman. Yeah, she wrote it in 2018.
That was a long time ago. Man.
Doesn't seem like something I would read, but it looks interesting.
Same, but I was like, oh, Sarah J. Maas wrote it, so, like, fun fact. That would be a good trivia question.
We're jumping into McCayleigh's book, guys, Isle of Beasts and Shadows. It just got released last week.
Yes.
So, if you haven't read it, you're gonna get a bunch of spoilers, so you should have read it.
You should have read it. Oh, well. But definitely, if you haven't read it yet, go back, listen to our last episode, and you'll get a sneak peek into one of the audiobook clips at the end of our episode. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you want to read it, I would suggest, skipping through this little section, go to the end, say goodbye with us. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
But yeah, let's get started. I'm so excited. So, Isle of Beasts and Shadows, this is a book I wrote when I started writing it when I was 14 years old. And I originally published it when I turned 19. So, like, right out of high school. I only published it to Amazon. I had no idea what I was doing. It was not edited or anything. It was just a high schooler wrote it and put it on the internet. And here is that first version of the book. So, it's very different than what it is now. And much shorter too, as it has, not as many chapters, character development, things like that. And here is the newest version. It's available now. Go order it.
Yes.
But yeah, you can definitely see there's a big difference in size. But there's that.
So, fun fact about McCayleigh, we have been friends for months, going to book club together for months, hanging out together. We were doing 2 Truths and a Lie one night, and hers was something, and I wrote a book. I said, BS, you wrote a book. If you wrote a book, you would have told me. She was like, this is my book I wrote a couple years ago. I was like, McCayleigh, you haven't told me? I haven't read this? What is going on?
No, I remember you took it from the shelf. You were like, can I read it? And I was like, no, a high schooler wrote this. You cannot. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to tell people I wrote it because the writing is awful. So, anyways, that moment, that book club meeting, whenever we played that game, that is what drove me to go in and re-edit the whole book. So I'm very thankful for that night. Otherwise, we would not have the Isle of Beasts and Shadows book that we have now. So thank you, Haley, for being a very, very
To
strong
the top because she
factor.
didn't tell
Oh
me.
my. Yes, you caused a chain effect. So thank you. But with that all being said, a little summary of Isle and Beasts and Shadows. So Arella Devereaux, the daughter of Eldorea's famed war general, is sent on a dangerous mission to a mysterious island where she encounters terrifying creatures called miscreants, and Sirius, a reaper whose dark allure is impossible to ignore. As they fight to survive, their forbidden connection grows, even as chaos unfolds. A powerful entity follows them back to their home of Eldorea, and it threatens everything Arella holds dear. With her kingdom in peril, secrets about her lineage come to light, forcing Arella to confront the darkness within and decide if she can wield it to save her world, or risk losing everything. Isle of Beasts and Shadows is perfect for fans of dark fantasy, epic romance, and high-stakes adventure.
So, content warning, guys, this book does discuss violence, death, dark magic, supernatural themes, blood and gore, emotional manipulation, loss of a loved one, torture, mental health struggles, and betrayal.
Yes, and it is classified as young adult, but so there's no like crazy spice or anything like that. But just a little heads up in case you do have any sensitivities.
Yes. So if you want to read my full essay-like review, go to my Goodreads. It's in our link in our bio on Instagram. My Goodreads is linked there. But I'll kind of give you a really short breakdown, more casual-like review. So, Isle of Beasts and Shadows is an epic fantasy that completely swept me away. The vivid world building full of magic, danger, and ancient secrets made the island setting come alive. I love the tension, the twists, and even the quieter moments that allowed the story to breathe. From jaw-dropping betrayals to moments that genuinely made me tear up, this book took me on a wild emotional ride. I'm already itching to see where the series goes next.
Thank you for your wonderful review.
You're welcome.
No, guys, Haley was the very first person to like read my book and give me a review. So I'm very grateful for having a friend like that. So thank you, Haley. You're amazing.
I felt so special getting to read it. She surprised us at dinner one night with physical art copies of her book, and I felt so honored to be one of the first people to read and review it.
Yes, yeah, and the version you have too, I've said it before, it's like the very first edition. So the editing, like I've cleaned it up since you read it. So I am very grateful for your 5-star review. It's definitely a little, cleaner and easier to read now. So thank you for getting through that. But guys, from here on out, definitely there are spoilers ahead. So this is probably where you should skip to the end, say our goodbyes with us. So I'm excited to answer these questions.
Yeah, we're going to jump into a little interview. There's some questions I had for McCayleigh kind of about her writing. So, what inspired the story of Isle of Beasts and Shadows? Was there a particular moment or idea that sparked this concept?
Yeah, so like I said, I began writing Isle of Beasts and Shadows when I was 14 years old in high school. I read a lot of like kind of very similar to Wattpad stories. There was like an app on my phone. I think it was called like Pocket Writers, or it was something like that. Everyone just wrote their own stories and just shared it with everyone. And so I was reading a lot of fantasy, romance, and I was like really into it. And then I was one of those kids that was constantly like daydreaming all the time, like out of it. Like people would be talking to me and I'd be like thinking of, what should I write on this app? And it definitely just kind of started off something small. So like the story that I wrote when I was 14 definitely evolved some. So it's definitely not the same, but it's like grown, and there's so much more meaning behind why characters in this current edition of the book do what they do and how they're all intertwined and connected. So, yeah, I have always loved fantasy, and it's just something that's always stuck with me, and that's just kind of how it came to fruition.
So, what was the most challenging scene to write, and why?
So there were two very challenging scenes. The first one being Jonathan's death. And this was really hard because at first, when I wrote it, I was like, okay, he's just dead. He's gone. But then It was hard to get rid of him because we just all love Jonathan so much. He's the lovable character that you never want to see hurt. He's the golden retriever of the book. And so I just had to keep him around. So I was like, let's just somehow make this happen. Like, it's a fantasy book, you know, you can make the rules. So we put his soul in a little necklace and just kind of carried him around with us throughout the rest of the story. But you'll definitely see a little more of him in book 2. I'm very excited for that. But the other scene that really was kind of difficult to write, especially as a high schooler, was the final battle in the book. So you have like 3 characters fighting over here and 2 characters fighting over here, and then 2 more that I don't know what to do with. They're just kind of like standing around. And so there was a part in the book that I was like, what do I do with these guys? Like, are they going to get attacked? Because they're just kind of standing around. They can't fend for themselves. So eventually I just kind of came up with, okay, Sirius can create a portal to Limbo. And so we had him put, you know, these incapable fighters in this portal just to keep them safe in the meantime. But like figuring out all of these connections and spots where all these fights need to take place and these conversations that all need to happen at the same time, that was really difficult, especially because at the time when I was writing, I only had like Microsoft Word, and people who are writers will know, like, okay, what is happening? Like, you write in Microsoft Word and then you're just doing like a bunch of copy and pasting and moving around. Well, now there's like platforms like Scrivener where you can actually write a chapter and then you just take the whole chapter and you put it wherever you want. So now that I have these tools that I did not have in high school, I'm really hoping my journey as a writer will be a lot easier and a little more organized. So definitely those 2 scenes were the hardest to write.
I can only imagine writing a battle scene, trying to figure out where everyone is at. Are they fighting? Are they not fighting? Who's with who? So I can only picture that being so difficult. When I got to the part where Jonathan died, I texted McCayleigh and I said, "You've broken my heart. He was my favorite character," and I said he better come back. I will die.
Yes, no, he was hard to kill. So I'm glad he kind of stuck around.
So the epilogue takes place 50 years in the, ahead. Mm-hmm. So how did you approach writing the theme of time and how it had its impact on relationships?
Yeah, so in the final battle, Alucard tells Connovix, in order to bring Arella back from the dead, that he would give himself up, but only if she would leave the humans alone, let them create a civilization so they're able to defend themselves, and she agrees to it. And the time that is given was 50 years, and that was enough time for these humans on this stranded, in the middle of nowhere island with full of monsters to build, a civilization, their own villages and homes, and, kind of repopulate. But I really wanted to communicate that in this epilogue that time can be both a healer and a thief, and I just really wanted to explore that duality. Arella, now she's ageless, and it's because her inner demon has been awakened within her. But everyone around her, everyone she loves has grown older. So she's really frozen in time. And it really just creates this beautiful yet heartbreaking tension. And just writing the epilogue, I just focused on how all of these relationships have evolved and how loss and love shape us and how hope can persist even after decades of unanswered questions, because she is really hanging on to Alucard coming back. And I mean, it's all she really has. Everyone else is growing their families and having kids and moving on, and she's actually frozen in time. And I mean, she's just waiting every day for Alucard to come back with no signs of him. But I mean, in this epilogue, it's the 50th year anniversary of him missing, of that final battle. So I'm really excited for the next book because it is taking place immediately after this epilogue, and I can't wait to share that with you.
Yes. When I was reading the epilogue, it was just really sad, especially with Arella's brother being there and how much older he is and how he's taken on all these different roles from being a little brother to an adult, a husband, a father, and things like that. So it
Mm-hmm.
was sad to kind of see everyone evolve around her while she's kind of stuck as her teenage
Yeah,
self. So
no.
that was a little sad.
Yeah, Ari is this old man now. Like he's, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
50-ish, almost a little
Yeah.
over 50. But he has a kid who is the same age as Sorella, or
Yeah.
appears to be the same age as Sorella. But it's just crazy to think, like, what if you were in her shoes? Like,
Yeah.
you're not changing, and all your loved ones will end up dying, and
Yeah.
you just can't do anything.
Did you have a favorite character in the book, or is there one you especially enjoyed writing?
Yeah, so I think I've said it before. I definitely love Jonathan. I think we all love Jonathan, golden retriever of the book.
Yes.
He is definitely the voice of reason most of the time, and he just brings so much heart to the story. And writing his like little banter and seeing his unconditional support for Arella was such a joy, and he really adds a lighter touch to some of the heavier moments, which I
Mm-hmm.
think and hope that readers will appreciate. So
Yeah.
it's really much like there's a lot of heavy in this book and a
Yeah.
lot of bad things happen. So it was really nice to keep Jonathan around because
Mm-hmm.
he comes
Right.
back and it's like, "Hi, I'm here to help you, Rella." It's a
Yeah.
very very Navi of him in like Legend of Zelda. I'm a gamer.
Right.
And Legend of Zelda, Link and Navi. It's giving that, vibe. Mm.
So, this book is the first in a series. Can you tease what readers might expect in the next installment of the Forgotten Isle saga?
Yeah, so without giving too much away, book two will definitely dive deeper into the mysteries of the Isle and the forces at play behind Connovix's rise to power. And readers will learn about the demon within Arella and its true purpose, and new alliances and enemies will emerge. So expect higher stakes, shocking betrayals, and plenty of twists because those aren't going away. So I'm
Yes.
very excited. And I was saying this earlier too, that I'm still in the process of deciding on whether or not to release like a novella,
I
a
need a novella.
little
I need one
novella.
so bad. I
Yes.
need one about Zol and
Emmeline,
how
yes.
he became what he is now, what drove him to this, and kind of how he lost essentially the love of his life. So
Yeah.
when I first met Zol, I texted McCayleigh and I said, I need more of him. I need you to write like his own story. I
Yes.
need to know.
Yes. So I love their story like so much. And then I was deciding between that and, just regular book two. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
see which one we get first. I haven't decided yet, but you will all see soon. You'll find out with the rest of the
Yes.
world. So follow us on social media to stay up to date.
Yes, so that was kind of a wrap on the interview we did. So now we're jumping into recommending a book for each other. We both already know which one, but it's still fun to
Yes.
talk about. Let me get it back off my shelf. So, the one I put it away already.
No.
The one that I recommended for McCayleigh is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I read this one last year. It was really one of my favorite reads. I love this author. I've got a couple different books by them. So, what this one is about, it's about a young girl who essentially sells her soul to the devil, but there is one condition, and it's that no one will ever remember her. She's staying the same age as she is, but she cannot have a husband or have kids. No one will ever remember her. So it kind of goes into how she's gone through all this time doing everything on her own, having no friends through hundreds of different years, and then jumping into where she is in today's world. So it's definitely a good book, and I think McCayleigh would really like it. There is a couple low moments, so I did cry a couple times during this book, so be prepared.
For the book that I have recommended Haley is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I don't have the physical because I listened to this one, but it is so cute and so funny. It's not fantasy, so that will be a little different for Haley.
I know.
But
I have not read something not fantasy in so long.
right.
So it'll be refreshing to kind of read something different. So it's a romance,
Yeah,
that one?
it's a
Okay.
romance. It's comedy, but it was so nice. I read this book like when I was really only reading fantasies. And so this was like the first book that I read coming out of fantasy romance only.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I really like this author. I like this writing. And I listened to it like to and from a trip to my hometown. And it was so fun. It's about this girl and her boyfriend. They're engaged and they end up breaking up. And so the girl, the main character, now is roommates in this apartment with the new girlfriend's ex-boyfriend.
My gosh.
So like it's not even a love triangle, it's like a love square.
You
know? It's definitely really funny, and I highly recommend. But definitely give it a read, give it a shot. I think you might like it.
I think I will. So hopefully maybe at the end of December or in the early January, we can do an episode where we kind of talk about the books that was recommended and kind of go over what we liked and all that.
Oh my God, let's do that. I would love that.
I think that'll be fun. Okay, everyone. So that's a wrap on today's episode of Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We hope you enjoyed getting a behind-the-scene look at Isle of Beasts and Shadows and celebrating all the bookish things we're thankful for this Thanksgiving. We'd love to hear what you're thankful for when it comes to books, so send us a message or comment on our socials.
Yes, so thank you guys so much for listening and supporting us. If you're interested in being a guest on our podcast, check out our Instagram or Facebook page at Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. There is a sign-up form in our link tree.
Yes, so you can follow me on my personal Instagram. It's at Haley's.books.
And you can follow me on Instagram at McCayleigh Daniels.
Join us for our next episode where we'll be discussing book icks and one-star reviews of books we loved. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone!
Yes, you can expect a podcast episode from us every other Thursday. See you next time!